under this head cover is what I think... In fact, under this head cover is what I know is the driver you did not buy in 2019 and probably should have done. And I'll tell you what, I bet it's not what you think. Let's do it, and let's do it now. Oh, yes, you should have bought it. I should have bought it. Oh. Can you still get one? Hi everyone, James Robinson here. If you're new to the channel and this is your very first time watching my content, first of all, welcome to the channel. Second of all, please make sure you don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you leave, because that way you won't miss any of the great golf related content that I bring to you guys every single day. But also you do have to ring that notification bell. This is a new thing to me, and apparently a lot of you guys are missing out on the content because you haven't rung the bell and you need to get notified whenever I upload new content. Apart from that, guys, leave us a like if you enjoy the content, because that helps me know that you're enjoying it. And as always, I want you guys to be a part of my videos, so I want you to comment below. In today's video, take the time out and comment below, what driver are you currently using? If you could change, what would you change to? You may have guessed today's video is about the TaylorMade Original 1 mini driver. For me, this is definitely the driver that most people should have bought in 2019, but a lot of people didn't. Do we need it off the fairway here? So guys, in today's video, I'm going to talk you through why I think this is the driver that most people should have bought in 2019 but didn't. And then I'm going to talk you through why people didn't buy it. That makes sense? Let's go. So first point, obviously today is a windy day, it is a cold day, and there's a massive premium on hitting fairways. Check. It's pretty good for that. See guys, one big thing for me which I like about the mini driver is it has all the technology that your TaylorMade M5 has. Well, apart from the adjustability factor with the weights, you could say it has all the technology that the TaylorMade M6 has. Twist face, it has the carbon crown, it has the beautiful, to be honest, I think it even looks better on top than the M5 and the M6 with the all black head. That really looks good to me. But I guess even if it is easier to hit fairways with, you still have to hit the approach shot. So that's twice now you've heard me say that it's easier to hit fairways with the TaylorMade Original 1 titanium mini driver. But why? Why is it easier to hit fairways with? Don't worry, I'm not going to hit the flop shot with this, because it may be the driver you should have bought, but it's definitely not the wedge you should have bought, because it's not a wedge, James, obviously. So back to the point of this video, the mini driver. Why is it so much easier to hit fairways with? It has a much shorter shaft. The shaft is just over a 3-wood length shaft. It's also a premium shaft. It is a Diamana F65 limited Mitsubishi shaft. And then there's a loft as well. 13.5 degrees is standard. Now you can move this up or down depending if it is a windy day or not. Today is a windy day, so I might treat myself and knock it down, but 13.5 is standard with that shorter shaft length. Fairways for days. Fairways for days? In real speak, that means you're going to hit a lot of fairways. And the reasoning behind this video is I've just got a new shaft in my driver. I'm now playing the Grapholoy blue shaft. Who remembers that bad boy in my TaylorMade M5 driver? And it's shorter. It's about an inch shorter than standard, and I'm loving it. I'm hitting so many fairways with it. And I was sat in the office last night reminiscing about clubs I've tested this year, and I looked over and saw this thing, and I thought, why have more people not used this? With the short shaft length, like we've just said, with more loft on it, why have more... How is this not a bigger thing? I just don't know how more people haven't put the mini driver into play. Maybe I should try it on the greens as well. So what else? Apart from the shaft length, apart from the extra loft, why else would you say this is the driver you should have bought but didn't? You see, so as the season draws to a close, I've been getting a lot of lessons in, a lot of people coming wanting to improve the game, improve the technique, work on it in the off season, then come back stronger next year, which is always the case, and it's absolutely brilliant. But I've also had people come who want a new driver, And primarily a lot of people want to hit more fairways. People are starting to see the benefit now of hitting more fairways. But then I say, well, what have you looked at? I've looked at Epic Flash, I've looked at M5, I've looked at M6, I've looked at the Cobra F9, I've looked at everything. I can't seem to hit fairways. And I say, well, what length shaft are you using? And they say standard length, which standard length realistically means long, very long. And they just can't control it. Oh, that is unbelievable. This might even go in my bag. Oh, that's gone miles as well. You see, whenever I've had driver fittings in the past, and especially when Mark went for his driver fitting, the mid-handicap tester as well, always have I gone half an inch, quarter of an inch shorter in the shaft, because that means, a waste of time putting the head cover back on there, means you're going to hit the middle of the face a lot more often, which means your ball speed is going to be up with a shorter shaft. Now absolutely, I hear what you're thinking, fair play, it's not going to go as far. It's definitely not going to go as far, you're right, but how far? How far are we really talking? Are we talking 5 yards, 10 yards? How much difference is that going to make to you if you're on the fairway instead of in the Oops, sorry. In so many of my lessons I've had people say, I just hit 3-wood, I never hit driver anymore because driver doesn't go as far as my 3-wood, 3-wood goes as far as my driver, and I just hit fairways with my 3-wood, so that's all I'm going to do. So then I sort of think to myself, well, if only there was a 3-wood type driver out there that you could use, you could hit fairways with, you could hit it a little bit further than your 3-wood, and it'd fill you with confidence. Right? Okay, so that one took a bad bounce, and you're not guaranteed to hit every fairway. And I guess a lot of this comes down to what golf course do you play? Is it a long course? Is it a tight course? Do you need every possible yard you can get out of that club so you can attack flags, so you can go for par 5s, you can even go for your par 4s if they're that long? So you may look at it as maybe a second option, maybe instead of a 3-wood, or just if you're going somewhere pretty tight and you need to hit fairways. I'll tell you what, be good. Ooh, especially for holes like this one, where I didn't need to be any closer, but didn't really fancy 3-wood. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is quite close as well, so that could even be a birdie. You can probably tell now that I've moved on to reasons why maybe people haven't bought them, and for me definitely price is one of those things. So for a mini driver, we'll come on to that in a second, £369. It's a lot, isn't it? I think if that's $299, you're seeing it in a lot more people's bags. A lot more. So yeah, I hear what you're saying. That tee shot was in fact downwind. I hit it straight. It's easier to hit it straight when it's downwind, and that's the reason it's gone a long way. Into the first hole, into the wind, it was still a nice swing, it was a nice strike, it was a nice big high draw, middle of the fairway, but we hit 4-iron in, and it was short. I haven't hit 4-iron in there for a long time, And that's made up for it, because now we're back to level. Albeit through 2 holes, but you can only do what you can do, right? So just then when I mentioned about the price of the original one, titanium mini driver again, that word, mini driver. To me, TaylorMade have had a bit of a stinker with that one, calling it a mini driver. Now obviously it's a smaller driver, it's in essence exactly what it is, so it's a great descriptive name. But how many men do you know who want to be described as mini? No? No, obviously. The original one mini driver did come about for the anniversary of the 1979 Pittsburgh Persimmon. So why they felt the need to call it the mini driver? M100, M50, M10? I think anything might have been better than mini driver. Mini driver? You see, for me these things make a big difference. Or a mini difference. That's another fairway hit, another. Not a mini fairway either. And again, this one's into the wind, so it's probably going to cost me a few yards in total. But realistically, when was the last time I hit 3 drives that straight? Ever? And you see, for me, another reason why this driver wasn't as successful as maybe it could have been. And you know what, I'm saying that. If you ask TaylorMade, maybe they will say it's been successful, but for me, I've just not seen that many people play it. I've not seen it in that many people's bags. But another reason, I think, is that you haven't seen many tour players getting them. You've not seen them on TV, you've not seen them on the PGA Tour, European Tour, LPGA Tour. But that's for good reason. That's because tour players know how to hit the middle of a face with a longer driver shaft and with less loft and hit fairways. So they don't need it. Whereas us, mid-handicappers, low-handicappers, high-handicappers, probably would need it. Okay, so we've talked about the pros, we've talked about the cons, and for me, the pros massively outweigh the cons in that I definitely feel this is the driver that so many people should have bought in 2019. So many people didn't buy in 2019. I think the big one's obviously the price, because getting on at £400 for a mini driver, again tying it in with that name, was never really gonna work. So there we have another fairway. And you see, I guess for me, another reason as to why maybe it didn't sell like it could have done. Yes, there's the name, yes, there's the price, but there was also the release date. I don't know why you just wouldn't have released it when the drivers came out. Then people have got the choice, haven't they? I want to go M5, I want to go M6, I want to go M6D type, I want to go M5 Tour, or I want to go original one mini driver. I still think it could have been like the M100 or something. Anniversary edition, guys, come on. But as for length off the tee, this is a par 5, and we've got an iron in, and we were into the wind off the tee as well, so can't be that bad, can it? And that was a nice little chunk and roll down there to about 15 feet. Okay, maybe 20 feet. Still, that just goes to show for me how much of a benefit it is hitting fairways. We've got that for eagle, so chances are it's not going to go in, so we're going to call it a birdie. Well, we might three putt, so it might well be a par. But to have the chance at making eagle, I definitely had a chance at making birdie, and we have hit 3 fairways in a row on the opening par 4, par 4, par 5 stretch here at Huddersfield Golf Club. So guys, that is for me the driver that you probably should have bought. No, the driver you definitely should have bought in 2019 to hit more fairways and lower your scores, but probably you didn't. So guys, all that's left to say is thank you for watching. I'm going to leave you on this eagle, hopefully. Oh, he has as well. Oh. Huge thank you for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please make sure you do leave a like. Hit those comments below. Which driver are you currently using in 2019 or even 2020 if the calendar's clocked over? And what driver would you change to if you had the choice? Guys, please make sure you do hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Also, ring the notification bell, because that way you won't miss any of the great content that I bring to you guys every single day. And apart from that, as always, I very much look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Let's make the birdie. Yes! Yes, I should have bought it. That is unbelievable. This might even go in my bag.